and welcome back again. I'm Karen, otherwise known as Wellies and Waffles, and welcome to my garden. I haven't been on for the past couple of weeks because I've just been so busy doing all sorts of stuff really, but I've been doing so much in the garden as well. So I just want to show you some of the work that I've been doing. I've been clearing some of the lane down to the house. That's very overgrown, as you've just seen, but I will continue to show you what I've been up to with that, and also to get the vegetable plot ready for planting out the vegetables, which I have started to do now as well, but obviously I've still continued to do some of the sowing. I did some over at the weekend as well, so I've got some Swedes coming up now, but I've still continued to plant the peas, beans, swede, kale, broccoli as well, so you've still got time to do it if you start now. I can't go ahead with this video and not actually mention the heat. It's been disgusting, to be quite honest. It's been awful. So it's 60 degrees in that polytunnel. So I've been in water and straight back out again. But I need to get the fan. I need to get the fan out and put that on as well. I've got a hurricane blower, which is a huge thing. So I need to get that out. But it lives up to its name. It's really strong. So I did it the other year and the plants just went straight down. So it was that strong. So I might just aim it for the ceiling, I think of it, and just let it sort of bellow down. But yeah, lots to do again in the garden, so let's go and have a look. Dead anywhere, that tree. Need to get a little bit more light into the plot, because the plot is actually just through there, the vegetable plot, and obviously all these trees, the sun's coming up over that way, and all these trees are putting a little bit of shade into the raspberry area. Actually, that's where they're shaded. Okay, I've done a few hours of it and looking nice and clear there. Cut down a few trees, letting a bit of light through. Still need to get rid of that pile of ivy there and then carry on up there, but very happy with that area, so I can lift up that weed suppressant and plant some nice plants in. And I did think it was fully shaded, but obviously now I've cut back some of the dead branches, getting some light through, so that's a good start. Time for a brew. I'm just going to empty out a few more of these bags all over the plot, and that'll give it a nice boost. So planning out the vegetable plot, every year I plan it out with using the bamboo canes as well. It just makes it really easy to just create different pathways through your garden, and also if you're doing your crop rotation as well, so not planting the same thing in the same area. It's just a really easy way of just creating different areas rather than having it all the same every single year. So I like to design it a little bit different. I use canes that I grow in the garden as well, the bamboo that grows in the garden that's died back. I cut that down and use those. Just saves obviously buying it as well. It's quite expensive as well, isn't it? And I've got loads and loads of bamboo, so I like to try and utilise everything that I've got in the garden. So I've started to do that, so let's go and have a look. So, what I'm going to do this year is, last year I had all the courgettes in this middle section here, so I like to swap it around and do a bit of a crop rotation every year. So this time they're going to go down here. Now I'm a little bit worried about the courgettes being there because of all the slugs and snails that tend to hide along here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to plant these towards the edge there, and then I'm going to plant some sacrificial plants down the side, maybe some lettuces, something like that, so that if they do venture over, they'll be busy eating these rather than getting to these. So fingers crossed, we hope that that'll work. But what I'm doing is I'm just going to put a really thin pathway. I don't like to waste any space, so it is going to be really thin. It will be thinner than this, as you can see. So a nice thin pathway, and then I'm going to plant in between here. And I'm going to use these smaller canes just to make little pathways through, so I can get to each section if I need to. But also I can cordon off each variety of vegetables that I'm going to be growing. So at the moment I'm not sure what I'm going to plant where, so obviously these can be moved as and when I need to. But at the back I've put the 2 metre kale, so that's already planted in. I've done it at the back so that it doesn't cast any shadow over any of the other veg. With it being quite tall, I didn't want it sort of, blocking all the sun from the other vegetables. So I've still got a little bit of weeding to do in this corner, but it's near enough getting there now, ready for planting out. And this is the Crown Prince squash. Now I'm going to plant it here, so that it's got plenty of space to trail wherever it wants to go. If it wants to go down the centre, obviously I'm not sure what I'm going to plant all the way down here or in these as yet, but obviously we've got the peas to put out and the beans, so I think the peas and bean structures might actually go along the edge, and then I'll just bring this forward a little bit. Beans and peas as well, you can still sow them now if you haven't started them off earlier on. You can still plant them out direct into the plot, or obviously in pots if you want to do it that way as well. Absolutely fine to do that. And if you've got any little areas of space within your vegetable patch, why not try some dwarf beans as well? So you don't need these great big supports. they can just stand up themselves and they'll be absolutely fine. So you can just plant in any little spaces that you've got, you can do that. So I use some of the obelisks as well for the beans. The peas I tend to do structures with bamboo canes, but the beans I have got these supports that I bought a couple of years ago, I think it was now. I've got these blue lake climbing beans. I've got these yard-long beans that I'm going to try. So these are, like the name suggests, a really long bean. And there they are. Just going to put a couple in each patch. And I've also got some that I started off a few months ago as well, so I'm going to separate these out, or you can plant them together, and I'm going to put them in between these poles and at the edge of the poles. I'm going to put some string up the centre so that they can climb up. Do a quick check on the gooseberries as well, just to make sure the birds haven't eaten them all, because I haven't actually covered these up, but they're looking beautiful. Got quite a lot on these gooseberry bushes as well, and I've got the green and the red varieties, so as you can see some of these are starting to turn red now, if I can not spike myself. Okay, lovely. So that's it. Thank you very much for watching again, and thank you again to the 2 new patrons that joined over this past couple of weeks. Your support is really appreciated. It just helps me to continue to create this content, so thank you very much. Still lots to do obviously, so please join me again next week in the garden. See you again soon. Bye.